It's time. It's only been 6 years. What's the worst that's going to happen? This is my wife's daily. It was about 7 years ago. And then she hurt her knee really badly. And we had a pretty much newborn at the time. It was really difficult getting her in and out of the back of a two-door coupe with a heavy clutch. And then so I was like, that's fine, we'll park it up. And I'll do a couple of cosmetic bits to it. And by that I mean turn it into a rat rod by accident. Basically, I'm sick of knowing that this is round here, so I'm just going to put it back on the road and surprise the missus. Will it even start, is the question. Probably not, I'm going to say. It's been sitting, so even though it's a K-Jet engine and you're supposed to go through the fuel system, I know these fuel systems quite well, and it is totally bone dry. Start with some fuel, grab a second-hand battery or something. Bare minimum, I've got no money to do this, so the answer might be no, we can't get it back on the road. We'll figure it out, won't we? Join us! So the situation with this is basically a little bit my fault, a little bit life's fault. Obviously, as you can imagine, a savage knee injury and trying to get a little one in a baby seat into the back of a two-door coupe with a low roof line, plus the heavy clutch pedal and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, the MGZS saloon was a bit too reliable and a bit too easy, and we sort of forgot about this old girl for a little bit. We came back in and tried to offer it some sympathy with a roller paint job, just to clean it up a bit. This was years back. I know better now. She's not happy, probably not very happy with me in particular, but we're going to try and change that today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We're going to start it. She's going to run today if it kills me. Oh, train. All right. This is going to be haggard. Oh, here comes the mould. What we got? Oh dear. I am sorry about this, old girl. Oh my god, it still smells the same. Even with the mould, that car still smells the same. I should point out, by the way, when we got this car, it sat in a barn for 13 years with the roof leaking on it. So all the shittiness on the roof and all that stuff, that was already there when we got it. It was like that when I came on shift, alright? I got it back on the road and it was daily driven and loved for another 5 or 6 years. So at least I tried. So lift the bonnet slightly, over to the side. I'm trying to remember now. I opened mine the other day. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Pardon you. Up we go. K-Jet. Oh, I was hoping there was going to be a battery. I think your battery's even more roached than the battery that I remember there being in here. We look to have, is that mouse nest? There's something going on down there. Should we check the oil? It's got oil. That's a start. I'd like to pretend that's a car throttle Easter egg, but that's been on there probably about the same time as old Moss has had his. Gonna stick some fuel in it and see what happens. There's a jerry can in there.
Is there anything in there, do you reckon?
Oh, probably not. And if it was, I wouldn't want to put it in the tank. You wouldn't know it to look at it. This thing ran beautiful when it was parked. I know, ran when parked. But, long story cut short, it had a timing belt just before it was parked. Yeah, look. Basically brand new ignition. One of our neighbours hit it and tore the fog light mount off on the bumper and did a load of other damage. So that's, I'm not concerned about the timing belt. We can just take a quick gander. But I know it had a, yeah, that timing belt's not particularly old. You can see from the tensioner as well, look. If you look down in there, it's pretty clean. I don't see any cracking, so we don't need to worry about it breaking. And to be honest with you, these engines are non-interference to within an inch of their life anyway, so that's fine. That V-belt has been nibbled. You see that? Alright, we're going to need some water. Why is that gone? It had antifreeze in it rather than water, so we don't need to, I don't think we need to worry about cracked blocks, but it is out of water. That's a little concern. Well, they could have chewed for a radiator hose is what I'm thinking. Moose poops. Yeah, we've had mice in here, little sods. We're going to have to make sure we wash our hands, Chief. We need water and a way of powering it. Let's figure that out. Just to outline what's happening with this project. Minimum viable. It's going to be safe, obviously, but roadworthy as cheap as possible because I've got no money. And then we'll give it the Scirocco treatment and do it all properly now that I can. First and foremost, it needs to start on its own and preferably leave the graveyard for the first time in 6 years. Oh, we've got a clock. Yep, clock's back. Ooh, oh my god, this car's disgusting. Oof. Hello, Mr. Wasp. Ignition on. That's the pump.
You don't sound...
Oh dear. No, that's quite miserable sounding. Good news is, somewhere in my big stash of parts, I have a brand new fuel pump. What I didn't want to do was put a brand new pump on it if the fuel system's full of varnish. I'm sure I drained the system down. Can we go for a crank?
I reckon so, yeah.
Not in gear. Ooh. It did, and then it died. I am noticing a distinct fuel smell. That's probably nothing to worry about. We've gone and got the battery off the other Rocco. Do you want to try the key? Ooh. Okay, and off. Encouraging. Should we get some jump leads on it? You got it. Train! Put your head in and then flick the key on and listen to the fuel pump. You hear how much more powerful it sounds?
Yeah.
Try it. Cool. Right, ignition off. Improving. Okay, that's all right. We'll let her charge for a minute. Doing the same again, letting the Rover feed into some juice because that battery is good. However, I haven't run my other Scirocco for quite some time. The idea is to make some progress, do something, and then that will inform us with everything else, if that makes sense. If we can get it started, I'm going to feel a lot more excited about putting this poor old girl back together. And then we can maybe give it a wash. What do you think?
I reckon so. I think it needs one.
Yeah, I think it's just wants a little pretty up, doesn't it? Can we try this again?
Sure, yeah.
Do you want to man the key? Definitely sounded happier, didn't it? Just see if we got spark. Should hear it cracking. Yep. Oh, that fired. Okay. Oh, close. Very close. That we had combustion then. I could hear it. The timing might be a touch off, but let's hot up all these leads a second. Give it a go now, mate. I'm going to try to not interfere with the throttle a second and see if it will go on its own. We just put another 5 litres in, and I took the cap off, and there was some suction, which was surprising for how little time the pumps run. They are supposed to slowly self-equalise their pressures via a breather, which may be blocked from how long it's been sitting. So for now, obviously we're not driving it on the highway, so I'm just going to take the cap off and we just let it vent to atmosphere for a second. Oh, it's close, man. Right, I'll give her a little throttle. Try it. Just a little throttle. And again. Okay, I'm starting to wonder if it's getting fuel now. It must be getting fuel because it's firing, or attempting to fire. I'll give it a bit of throttle. Maybe it's too much fuel. Go on, then. And again. We had a puff back then. Might be timing. Okay, give it a go.
So close.
So Logan's just suggested that we go for throttle straight away. So just keeping her running. Welcome back. Nice. Is that oil smoke? Yeah, it just smells like oil smoke.
Oh, look at it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. Right. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that one turns on.
Sound alright?
Yeah. And those both turn on well as well.
I haven't got a pressure washer, stop giving me shit. At this point, I was really surprised at the fact that this old girl ran as well as she did, and it just seemed ungentlemanly to not give this poor thing a clean. As you can see, she changed colour. What was revealed underneath was an absolutely despicable paint job, but we already knew that. The important thing is now it looks a bit less of a wreck, a little bit less neglected, and most of the big chunks are removed, so the body kit should line up. The results were actually quite stark. I was really pleased. Right, so she runs. Now the question is, can we get her back on the road without the wife noticing? Maybe. Gonna have to keep it still. Gonna have to sort of sneak it out £10 at a time, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
She's gonna be over the moon. I just want to surprise her. So, yeah, battery, throttle cable. So we need to go through the brakes. The fuel system seems fine. The engine seems happy.
Is the body kit alright?
Body kit's good, yeah. We just need to put it back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully join us next time on Skyrocket Automotive when we save this poor old girl and turn her back into a daily driver. I fancy a cup of tea.